why do people have to say like that sucks because they don't like it? I think it comes from the human condition of everyone, all of us included. We don't want to be wrong. It doesn't feel good to be wrong, right?
No.
You want to be right.
Yeah.
So if you feel something, when you hear a song that's like really good, you're like, this is awesome. I love this song. It feels right. And then if someone else tells you that song sucks, you're like, what? No, it's good.
Real FERM.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real FERM podcast with me and your boy, Rockstarliiife friendly
Your friendly neighborhood rock star.
Today's an interesting one. So, as you can tell by what I probably titled the episode, it's a very general idea. It's a concept. I wrote an entire essay just on my own accord based on my experience that I've gained through all the underground young artists sending in music and people saying things like oh, this is trash, this is good, this is bad, whatever. And so I started and I started this before ChatGPT. None of this was AI written. However, because it ended up being so long.
How long was it?
Like 10 pages.
Holy shit.
And I was like, let me type. So my initial idea when I started writing it was I'm going to do a YouTube video about, my take on that perspective of what a song is good, what it means for a song to be good. And then I was like, I can't, this is too long. Like this can only exist well in writing. I can't deliver I tried delivering the lines to the camera. I was like, I feel like I'm reading a teleprompter, like I'm a news reporter. It did not feel natural. So I said, let's do a podcast where we have you to kind of bounce off of, and so I ran the thing through ChatGPT to, like I said, summarize this and give the key points, and it did. And so we're going to have a conversation about that. This is my philosophical, psychological deep dive into why people like songs, what makes a song good, coming from a science background myself, music first, then science, then back to music. I have a lot of points that I think people will find interesting. But before we start, this is not a guidebook on how to make a great song. This is more of a intellectual conversation about it. I'm going to read the first point of that ChatGPT gave me. Summary and key points from the essay. Introduction and perspective on music. The essay begins by asserting that success in entertainment is primarily a popularity contest where the audience's preferences as a whole dictate what becomes popular.
That's so true.
That is true. The other thing that's weird about it is I had some like notes in it that I didn't take out in terms of to anticipate reading it as a video, so some of it's weird the way there's a lot of points in here, but basically my whole thing is the bread and butter is objectivity versus subjectivity.
Yes, of course.
So I say this in my streams a lot, there's two main things that everyone that's very scientific, objective, measurable, that what makes music good and listenable to the human ear, and that is rhythm and pitch.
Absolutely.
That is it. Aside from mixing enters into more subjectivity, but there's like harsh frequencies that our human ears are like, whoa, I don't want to hear that.
Yep.
Which is a pitch, but it's a different kind. So when you write a song, when you perform a song, if you are not on pitch, if you're singing flat, there's a key of 7 notes that you can use, unless you're talking about jazz and you're changing the key.
Yeah.
You got 7 notes, and then you have the tempo that you have to follow. That is measurable. Everyone can agree on it. When you hear something that's out of pitch, you're like...
You hear it immediately. It's a big distraction from it.
And some people aren't as good at detecting it, whatever, and then tempo. The more you're off, the more it's going to be like, whoa, this is bad.
And the more someone's into music, the more they can like realize that.
Exactly.
Like, oh my God, what the fuck was that?
Exactly. So my whole thing, the whole reason why I started writing this is because I'm hearing people say this music is trash, this is good, this is bad. And I'm like, well, and these are people saying things about already successful musicians. It's like, well, they're selling out arenas and you're saying this is bad?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you think it's bad and you don't like it. So that's where the whole thing of feeling comes into it.
Yep. Art and beauty are both subjective.
Exactly. That's one of the things in the essay is beauty, or the musical beauties in the ear of the beholder, or something like that.
Yes, of course.
So I want to get into some of the so that was my main like starting point was like the only thing that we can all agree on is what makes a song good, what makes it like palatable at least, is if you're on pitch and you're on tempo. Everything else you can imagine has gotten some kind of at least niche fan base around, and you'll be hearing it like, whoa, people like this? Guess what? They do. So accept it. And there's a lot of stuff like that. So basically, I'm a scientist. I come from I'm not professionally a scientist anymore, but I come from a science background.
He's a scientist that is now just a smart motherfucker.
Well, thank you. And so engineering, audio engineering is a big thing in making music.
It's so fucking prominent because even the engineers have to be producers now.
That's another discussion.
Because
that's another essay I wrote on what it means to be a producer.
We will get to that.
An audio engineer is also a kind of producer.
They all go hand in hand.
They play a role in the production.
But at the end of the day, what you're saying is the quality of the rhythm and the feeling is
those are musical objectives. You can measure the frequency of the pitch that aligns with the key. You can measure the tempo of it that aligns with the beat.
Yep.
Nobody can disagree with that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Try fucking recording a song that is like 90 BPM, but you're recording it in the tempo of 120 BPM and try to copy paste the hook over. It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
The rhythm is really important.
Some plugins that help with that now, especially auto tune, of course. We got plenty of famous rappers that can't hold a tune to save their life, but they're, as long as the auto tune's on, they're good. Which is fine. I'm not hating on that at all. Because you can still write great songs, and a lot of it is about persona and, like I said, popularity contest.
Oh, it's a big popularity contest.
So, one of the things I'm looking at here, I highlighted a bunch of things. Engineering. What engineering is using science to design things. Engineering. You take scientific principles that have been derived from theories and experiments, and then you implement them to design. So that's what audio engineering is. However, like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, you take the principles, you apply them, you make a cell phone, and it's like, this cell phone works. It's great. Some cell phones are designed better than others.
Absolutely.
The user experience. And that's measurable. The thing with audio engineering is you're making a product that is very subjective because it's going through the human ear, and it's psychological because it induces feelings that we can't measure.
Absolutely.
You can't measure feelings other than trying to explain them, and you know how hard it is to explain feelings to another person.
It's ridiculous. It's like, it's the same type of thing, going back to the cell phone thing, right? It's the same thing of what you're talking about. It's like when someone likes an Android and other people have iPhones. Oh, I like my Android.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's feelings in there. Yeah, exactly.
It's the same type of deal.
So, engineering in itself is subjective, but it is based on science. So that was you can't measure the benefits of the audio engineering because you can't measure feelings.
No.
And that was another thing go ahead.
There's a reason why robots and AI still can't really properly communicate feelings. They can do kind of good now.
Right.
But they will never be able to properly show that they're expressing the feelings because it is ultimately a human unmathematical equation.
Exactly. And so just at the end of that, you can't convince someone of artistic taste. It is acquired through feelings and attraction that is unique to the individual. In science, you convince something is right through evidence, and it may be complex at times, but when you understand it, makes sense to everyone that understands it. With art, you can only the art can only be fully understood by the artist that created it.
Absolutely.
And then the listeners can resonate with it, and some will not at all. But still, the artist is the only one that will fully be able to understand. And the consumer will only ever get an idea of what the artist is portraying.
Exactly, and
big
it really
part of
helps. It really helps when you utilize your full emotions and you are completely vulnerable when you are in the booth. Whenever you're recording something, the more emotions you portray, the more people you are. Because guess what? As humans, we can identify when someone is feeling a feeling. And if someone is feeling that same feeling as us, we will resonate with that.
Exactly.
You could take the same exact song said in two different ways. One way with full emotions, the other one with the words said a little bit better. And the ones with full emotions will 100% of the time do a lot better.
Right, and you need the people that will resonate with those emotions to be your fan. Right?
Absolutely.
So one of the things I threw out, like a big talking point, or like just statement, is music is 95% subjective. Sorry,
95.
5% is the rhythm, the pitch, getting that right. Because you can do that great all day, and there's so much music out there. It has to resonate with someone. So that the number's arbitrary, but like it's a very small percentage of, like, you can pay for studio time, you can get a crisp, beautiful recording, but if it sounds like everything else, it's not resonating with everyone. If
you don't stand out, you're standing out of everything. You have to stand out a little bit. That's why you're even like the shittiest music to our taste,
right.
Fucking what was that Lil Pump song?
Yeah, Lil Pump. Oh, Gucci Gang.
Gang.
I hear that and I'm like, I want to stop hearing.
Yeah, literally.
But it's because I just don't like his energy, and that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to hate him. I don't want him to stop making music.
No,
it's just a childish feeling to me.
If you're a hip hop artist, think about it like this, because hip hop is not like how rock is, where rock has all these other genres and shit like that. Remember the show? Remember
hip hop has a lot of subgenres.
The channel Music Choice.
I'm not sure.
So if you ever go on your TV, watch music videos and shit like that, it's basically how MTV is,
MTV
right?
Was.
So long story short, I was watching the Music Choice channel on the TV. When you have cable, you have these channels, whatever, and they only have a couple hip hop channels. Well, guess what? So it's the same thing with radio. They only have a couple hip hop channels. And on this hip hop channel in particular, they play Gucci Gang. Gucci Gang. You know what the very next song was? The very next song was a J. Cole song. Yeah. So that just goes into the line of finding your feelings and everything like that, because they will literally play the same two different things from the same genre back to back. So
exactly, because they're one. Yeah. And you don't need to say that music sucks. I mean, listen, people, we use that language like it's fine. I'm not saying like stop. I'm not trying to be a social justice warrior about like controlling language, but this is more of like when you really think about it, what it is.
It's not, some songs aren't meant for that.
Yeah,
everybody.
It's just not meant for you. You don't have to say this is
everybody.
Trash.
I have this one song, for instance, called "Good Day," and it's out on Spotify, and literally, I have two different types of people that talk to me about the song. Either A, that's the worst song I ever done, or B, that's the best song I ever done. There's no in between. There's no like that's okay. It's like that was your best shit or that was your worst shit. It's like it's crazy. So so music is 100% subjective, and everybody is different.
And the problem, and yes, the problem I have with it is the language that's used, because you'll say things like this is the worst or this is the best, and really what you're saying is this is the worst to me.
Absolutely.
But people hear that and they're like, oh, well, it's objectively bad.
Oh yeah.
Which is just not the only thing objectively bad. Like I said, if you're screaming and banging pots and pans and there's no key or rhythm. And some people like that too. Who knows?
Yeah, everyone likes things that are different. And, that's why, like he just said, 95% of it is absolutely 1 billion% subjective.
So let's get into what makes it good in terms of success. What does success mean?
Oh, shit.
So I have two forms of it.
Oh,
so there's a micro scale and there's a macro scale. right? What makes a song? I'm just going to read here. What makes a song good? What is a success? First off, it depends on your goals. Context is extremely important. Are you trying to be famous and dedicated to have a career in music, or are you just doing it for fun? The simplest example of an artistic success is you made a song, you pour your emotion, energy into it, and you finish it and say, I love what I did here. You listen to it, the final form, and are very proud and satisfied with how it came out, which I'm sure you've had many times.
Absolutely. And going on the what do you want ultimately out of it? There are also people that like just want to be rich and famous off this shit.
Yeah,
and that's
another
it.
part
and
that
like,
I touch on. Yeah.
It's like no, your goal, like he just said, your goals are 100% what's important. It will drive how you walk.
Yeah, and so if you love that song that you made, it's a success. It's a success for you, right?
Absolutely. There's no better fucking feeling.
It's a successful song you made for yourself.
For myself.
In that small instance, okay?
Every single time.
And then it may not be received by others the same way, but you enjoy it. And then it's very personal. Your emotions are in it. And if you share it to another person, they're like, I love that song. Then that's fucking awesome. You shared they vibe with it. That's great. And then the big thing is like taking that and expanding it to a giant audience that's all like, we love this song. And that's a bridge, a gap that is extremely hard to overcome.
Still haven't got there yet. We'll get there at some point, don't worry.
Yeah, amen.
But the way I see it with what you just said as well is, like, for instance, I am an artist, of course. I record my own music. I do every fucking thing, right? But I make it for myself first. And then I release it for the benefit of others.
Yeah.
For others to benefit off of what I did
You're in
for
the
myself.
business of doing it for yourself. Some people are in the business of doing it for the money of it, making hits, which can work. It's not impossible, but it's a lot harder. And unless you have some kind of corporate entity or a shit ton of money backing it, whatever. But be original. And
Absolutely.
A quote from Rick Rubin: "The audience doesn't know what they want; they only know what's come before."
Exactly.
You deliver something that's so interesting and original to yourself, they're gonna be like, "Whoa!" That's what happened when I first heard Lil Peep. I was like, I've never heard anything like this, and it touches on all my, brain strings from my past and and all that.
Yeah.
It's be yourself and do what you want to do, and if people love it, they'll love it. They're
Don't
not going
ride the
to
trends,
guaranteed.
Make the trend. Even if even if a billion or even if a million trends that you try to start don't work, just keep going. Just be yourself. Start it. Don't ride it.
So here's another point about this is where we kind of get into like here. I'll just read it. This is just what I wrote. I notice artists often have a specific framework in their minds of what a good song sounds like to them. They may hear someone else's song and think that's pretty cool, but it would be better with a different beat,
I do that all the time.
You need more energy in your vocals.
Yep.
While feedback of any kind is always helpful because you're getting an idea of how people are perceiving your music, specific feedback from one individual only helps you to make your song better to that one individual.
Yes.
So you can't realistically get enough data on your own as to how the masses will perceive your song. So it's statistics. You need so many, what I'm saying is it's great to get feedback from as many people as possible, but you can't possibly understand how everyone's going to perceive it until you get it out there.
Absolutely. Listen, your eyes face forward. Your eyes do not face inward. You can be as like self-reflective as possible. Like I am fucking super self-reflective. But by being self-reflective, I know that when I'm on stage and I'm performing, I cannot physically see how I'm performing. I cannot physically see that. I know that I like this song a lot. This song means a lot to me. That means this song is more important to me than it will be for anybody else. Well, how are others perceiving that? I don't know. I don't have an idea because I don't care about it. But even if I do care about it, I still won't like.
You just don't want to care too much about that.
Exactly.
Or else you start compromising your originality.
Exactly. But for like the people that care, you might have a general idea, but having at least one other person to be like, hey, it'd be better like this. Or hey, here a little tweak. Or hey,
you'll make it better to them.
It'll be better. And not
but
only
you
that,
don't know if they're Yeah.
You're improving. You're improving,
Sure.
which should be the ultimate goal of every single day.
Sure.
Is improvement, and you can't improve without other people.
Yeah, so the next part, I go more deeper into the feelings thing. We kind of already touched on it, but I was basically making comparisons, like, here's one. So if you, take emo rap or emo rock, where it's like screaming about like a breakup or something, you think a happily married guy with kids is going to want to hear something like, she broke my heart, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
No. But to someone who just went through a breakup, they're gonna love that song.
They're gonna fucking love that
It's
song.
just more of that feelings.
And you think about it too, it has an extra effect as well, where if anybody feels any type of very, very strong emotion, the first initial fact, I don't know about you, but for me, if I'm going through a really strong emotion, my immediate thought is I don't know how this feels. I don't know who like has felt this shit before.
Right.
And I think I'm all alone in this instance. I'm alone in this feeling. And when you have those emotions on the songs and shit like that, I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of songs help me out of suicide, breakups, fucking.
You have to get it
literally,
out.
You get it out because you
get it out through the song.
They understand. That understanding is what is lacking today in people.
Yes. So here, moving on to another point is this is beyond what we're talking about, or what we were just talking about. This is what I call the fame confirmation bias, or clout confirmation bias, and this is like a big thing. Like, forget music. When you go on YouTube and you search for a video you're trying to find, or like a tutorial or whatever.
Yeah.
What are the first couple ones come up? 1 million views. Yep. You pick the one with the most views because it's like, oh, well, a bunch of people already watched it. Surely it's the best.
It's the same with music. Yep. Exactly.
So there's this weird thing about the numbers we're talking about in the other podcast, where it's like, it's much easier the more famous you are, the more likely someone is to like receive. If you go on Spotify and you just see like who's the top artist, people are looking for the top artists.
Yeah.
Because the numbers are confirming that other people like it.
Exactly. It's solidification of, that person's dope. Like, for instance, it's the same thing when I was had very little followers, a very little following, a very little fan base and everything like that. People judge, and I don't judge. Like, literally, and it was one of the hardest things for me to learn and teach myself is that, other people actually, like, perceive others and give a bias. I had to learn that at a fucking old age of 20.
And by the way, we're not, but nobody is immune to it. I'm not saying I'm enlightened and I have, like, of
absolutely.
course, I'm subjected to those biases, and then I catch myself, I'm like,
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it until I was like, I do this too, but very slightly. But I did notice that others, especially if you're an artist, I want to say future fans or potential fans will do the exact same thing, and they will judge you by a bias, by your numbers and stuff like that. Like, if you are not, if no one else likes you, why the fuck would I like you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. People are more judgmental when there's no, which is why on the streams I try to be as open as possible. It's like, I don't care what your following is. Let me just hear what I'm hearing and feel what I'm feeling.
So put it like this too. So watch in the brick above. There is the last episode, part 1. In part 1, I talked about my following and growing my following and all that jazz, right? Yeah. So put it like this. Before I had over 10K following on Instagram, no one took me fucking seriously.
The confirmation.
No one cared
the clout
to listen.
Bias.
And if they actually were listening, it was like a half-ass, oh my God, let me just humor him real quick or something like that. So it wasn't an actual like listening thing. It was more they went into the situation negative.
All right. Yeah, exactly. So the clout confirmation bias, fame confirmation bias, it's everywhere in social media, music.
It's literally everywhere.
Here's another topic about it is I might end up writing a book because there's so much information.
I'll buy it.
So basically, the next thing I started talking about was the whole reason why I started writing this was because of hearing people's crazy harsh opinions and saying that they're right.
Yeah.
So it's like this is trash, this sucks, blah blah blah. And especially if you're an artist yourself, because if you're narcissistic in particular, it's like, oh, I'm better than him, you suck, I'm good.
So
it's kind of that projection.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
So what I'm gonna say is, it depends on the person. The person giving it, of course, I'm with you. But the person receiving it, depending on what they're really doing for, I think it helps weed out the people that aren't actually doing it for themselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance here. But so basically, what I was saying in this paragraph is why do people have to say like that sucks because they don't like it? I think it comes from the human condition of everyone, all of us included. We don't want to be wrong. It doesn't feel good to be wrong, right?
No.
You want to be right.
Yeah.
So if you feel something, when you hear a song that's like really good, you're like, this is awesome. I love this song. It feels right. And then if someone else tells you that song sucks, you're like, what? No, it's good.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I didn't feel it, so no, it's bad.
Yeah.
You get into this stupid fucking immature argument about which song is better, which is sometimes is entertaining, what's the best movie or what's, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, you felt it differently, and you're trying to prove that you're right because you felt this way, and that person's feeling that way, and you want them to feel the same way as you. It's this tribalistic bullshit.
It really is, and let me tell you, it's honestly something that helped me a lot because I'm so like, whenever I make a song, for instance, I'm in fucking love with the song. I just made this song for myself.
Right.
I don't want to listen to nothing else other than the thing that I just fucking made. And honestly, it really helped me grow when people were like, "Oh, that shit was ass. That shit was trash." Like,
that's another part I touch on here.
Like that shit. I mean, I don't know if it's I forget the terminology and shit like that, but it was like, oh wait, it made me actually take a step back and question it. Not saying that it's healthy. It is for certain people.
I have a whole thing on that too.
Perfect. So I'm not saying it's healthy, but I'm saying that when the right artist hears actual criticism, especially when they are surrounded by yes men or whatever the fuck like that, it is helpful for them to be like, oh, pulls themselves out of their own ego, I guess, and be like, oh my god.
Exactly what I was about to say to wrap up that point, which was musical taste becomes part of your identity, especially as a kid. Like the high school, you got the goths, they listen to I don't know how it is now, but I'm sure it's still, the rap people listen to rap and they're like, oh, your music sucks, we're part of a different group. It's that tribalistic. It becomes part of your identity and your ego, and you don't want people to challenge that by saying that's not good or I don't like it or whatever. So there's that whole thing. And we get into more stuff. So let's take a quick break.
Wait, hold on, real quick before you take the break. Speaking of couple minutes, so I like to look at it like this. So not only is it tribalistic because I like it, but it's also like if you take the general person, right? I like to take my dad, for instance, right? My dad and all of his friend group. I've learned a lot from them. They taught me a lot. One thing they taught me was I always thought I was like, I'm always going to be, I love ingesting new music and finding new music. That is like one of my favorite things in the world. But 9 times out of 10, it's creating new music, but I'm putting myself in the general sense of people that don't do it, right? So what I learned from all of them, as soon as they had kids, settled down, got in that Swift routine, then finding new music,
they lock into
they won't do it, bro. Like literally it is from when they were a child till when they have a child. It is that from that area, that is the music that I will continue to listen to. And has 5
Some people are just closed-minded to music, which is fine. You don't have to like everything. It's there's nothing wrong with that either.
But I feel like that's like
just more of a.
It's a normal thing, though.
It is. That's why I like to write about it, because it's fascinating to me, because I kind of broke free of that. I'm not saying I'm better because of it. I just think I have an interesting perspective.
Absolutely.
We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back to continue.
Here's for the ad.
That doesn't exist. All right, so we're back from the break, talking about what makes a song good, the psychology and all of that. And we ended off with the ego. We were just talking about the ego.
Yep.
Part of your identity, right? And the next part that I started writing about in this after that was critics.
Oh.
These people, I mean, listen, and this goes off to what you're saying about like hate, like people hating on, like actually being useful.
Yeah.
Which it is. So I'm not saying critics shouldn't exist or anything, but basically, harsh critics, the types that feel as though their taste in music is superior and their opinion is fact. And you see this in every form of art. Like we were going back to saying, well, you want to be right. So if you think you have this, I have the best taste in music.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you think when I say something's bad, it is bad, and you should believe me. And if you think it's good, then you're an idiot.
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing.
No,
Like,
you gotta get that
you have
out
a bad,
of here.
Yeah, that is. It's like the country sucks. It's like, okay, well, tell that to fucking Garth Brooks or whoever who's making millions of dollars on tour, and all the fans are happy to pay the price and see him. Like, joke's on you if you think that sucks.
Yeah, seriously.
You're just hating on it at that point because you're jealous or something.
I used to be a hater of country
Me
music.
too. I was
like super hater.
Like I
of
said,
country music.
we're not immune to this. This is just something.
It was a grown thing. We both learned from this. You know what I mean? Like literally, anytime anybody would put country music on, I would literally get mad. Be
Me
like,
too,
turn
yeah.
that
Because
shit
it puts like it makes you feel weird because you don't like
Yeah.
the way the vibe is.
Exactly.
And then, which is understandable, as we said before. It's all about feeling.
Yeah, we grew from this.
Just
We learned to
understand
understand
that.
it.
And plenty of songs still, like saying Gucci Gang. Like I don't want to hear that. That being said, I don't think it's trash. I don't think he sucks. It's just
No.
like it's not for me, and I don't. It don't.
You know what changed my mind? Not changed my mind, but maybe have a deeper understanding of why that song blew up like that. Right? Is whenever I would go to shows and the crowd would chant back the easy part of my songs. So
Yeah,
I was like,
there's marketing. There's little things.
I was like, damn,
They designed that
I didn't like that song until I saw that type of shit going. And all I could think about was like a big ass crowd of people just chanting Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci
Yeah,
Gang,
it's
Gucci
so
Gang
silly.
in unison.
But yeah, people love it.
So there's always different perspectives. So like me and FERM, we used to be haters of certain types of music.
Yeah.
So
I'm no
have an open
longer
mind to it. It just takes some time.
Of that. But yeah, literally, country music is an example in there. But yeah. So critics who are like, think of Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
From he's like, you're horrible. Oh, actually, in that setting, it's a little different because they're actually performing and they might do bad in terms of their performance.
And his whole brand was that.
But
so it was like expected.
But and then yeah, so these are people that are super narcissistic and they have or they're playing a character. And another example of this on YouTube is the Needle Drop, Anthony Fantano, who no disrespect to him, but he did say one thing that lost some of my respect, which is I'm not really a regular watcher of his album reviews and all that, but I forgot that band Falling in Reverse.
Yeah.
They made that wild, like Watch the World Burn, which is like a interesting infusion of like rap and metal, and I forgot what he said, but he said something about like the lead singer and like saying I should look it up because it was like he's a washed up, like he just said
he
and
says
I'm like,
things
this
that
is
are
a
like
viral song that people love. Like, why are you shitting on?
He says shit objectively when it's really subjective. And I liked Anthony Fantano for a long time, but I just kept on seeing him say subjective opinions and stating them as objective facts.
Which is what I was saying before,
bro. Like.
Sometimes I think he's doing it to like get attention because it blows my mind that you would actually believe the things he's saying.
But when he's doing an album review, like as like the person who's like like there was a point in time where I didn't have time to listen to albums or nothing like that. So I was like, oh, what are they saying about this one?
So okay,
you know what I mean?
Here's what he said. Fantano called the Falling in Reverse track I'm not sure which it's saying. It's just various new singles. A really bad rap metal song where it kind of sounds like the rapper or Ronnie Tom McDonald. It sounds like Tom McDonald, but without the racism, and Eminem, but without the talent. Like, clearly the guy has talent. Like, what the critic added, the bars are cringe and super terrible and difficult to bear. And kind of the metal transition it goes into toward the end of the track is gross and tacky as fuck. Yeah, I hope I don't have to listen to this track too many more times before I end up in the grave. Like, that's cringe to me to say that.
That's fucking super cringe.
And
bro.
again, this is all opinion. That makes me feel weird. Maybe it made him feel that way, but
he doesn't.
As an adult,
Yeah, no. No.
What?
No. It's fucking ridiculous is what it is, because what it is, hey, I don't like it. Instead of saying I don't like it or this makes me feel like this, it's this shit right here is so bad. It's blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's YouTube comment type stuff, like the trolls that'd be like, "You wasted 10 minutes of my life." It's like, well, just click away. Why are you saying things?
I have a whole theory, a real quick tangent.
Ahead.
I have a theory that I don't know if I know he has a girlfriend and shit like that, right?
I don't know much about him.
Look up Anthony Fantano baby or child or some shit like that real quick, but I'm not 100% sure, but what it seems to me is he blew up as
his wife here, Dominique Boxley.
Yeah. So, like how I was saying before, is there's a certain point in life where ingesting new music, new ideas of music becomes
hard
literally
to accept.
Unbearable.
You close your mind off. You want to live in that state that you felt comfortable in.
Exactly. So like I think that I'm not 100% sure. I don't know all the Anthony Fantano lore, but it's like it feels like he started off doing what he was doing, giving these reviews and stuff like that. And he was really in love with it, but now this is his thing, but he's no longer that person in that sense.
I like to believe that he is feeding into the drama criticism for more clicks and to keep his YouTube channel relevant.
Yeah.
I hope, because if he's really saying, but again, this goes on to my next point, which is, you do need, haters aren't great objectively. They're kind of, nobody wants them except for the other haters around them.
Everyone's going to hate though.
It is good for people to experience that because it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were saying, yes men. And if you're surrounded with yes men, then you might end up creating something really weird and dumb and no one else is going to like because everyone else told you. And then, so yeah, there's a balance.
Yeah, there's a big balance. And let me tell you something. I was always told, not something I was always told, but I go by the thing of judge your success by the amount of people that hate you and despise you rather than the people that love you. Now, granted, I started off my musical career very differently where I literally, no one fucking liked me until one of my songs hit 100,000 streams.
The Clout confirmation bias.
Exactly. What it was it solidified, I can actually listen now. But not even just that, I had to learn and grow as a person and shit. But it's a whole fucking thing.
So I was saying, like it's entertaining and critics and all that and cool and they serve a purpose, but there's always going to be haters. Some artists could use a knock to their ego from time to time, for sure. Hate fuels a lot of artists to drive them further into getting better at what they do so they can feel victorious over their detractors, and the triumph is that much more glorious. It is healthy to receive negative criticism, but there's so many haters. That's why not only does it make me feel bad to hate, it's like, if someone says like, "Oh, you're too nice" or whatever, it's like, well, bitch, there's so many other people that are so mean and shitty that like I think the world deserves more nice people that aren't as ruthless and obnoxious.
There's a big difference.
There's already people doing that.
There's a big difference. There are two different types of criticism, either constructive or deconstructive.
Yes.
And so something that I have to give the flowers to FERM, and I have not fucking seen anybody else do this type of shit, is either A, they're too fucking, like, straight to the point, objective. This is fucking ass. This sounds like shit without no context.
That's not objective, yeah. But that's how
they're
subjective. I see what you're saying.
They say it like it's
they're
subjective.
Portraying as a fact.
Yeah, they're like, this is ass. This is fucking trash. How the fuck is that going to help the artist? How? It can't
fuel them to say "fuck you." I know it's not trash, which is good.
Exactly, but then they don't really have a common. They don't have a direction that they're going. Something that FERM does that I haven't seen nobody that does these like live reviews things do is, hey, this fucking sucks, but hey, if you don't want this to suck, maybe next time do this. But
I usually don't word it like that.
No, he says
I'm a nice
it
guy.
he's a lot nicer. And listen, I was there.
I've been kind of harsh, but only if it's like repeatedly. I'm like, okay, I mean, come on.
But he'll literally be like, yeah, no, you just gotta fix the EQs, or hey, maybe
I'll give advice.
This thing like this. There's a big difference now. When there's haters and stuff like that, it's because some people can't differentiate haters from actually people who are helping.
Mm-hmm.
Haters will do it to a point that just vindicates themselves. That just says, "Oh, I'm right," like you were saying.
Yeah.
So, but the constructive criticism part is like, "Hey, I noticed this. I feel this way. I want you not to be portrayed this way.
Yeah.
Let's fix that shit real quick." You know what I mean? So you're going to have haters. And as someone who's had more haters than fucking fans, and only had haters for years, as soon as I got fucking fans, I didn't know how to feel about it because it's fucking weird to me. Just getting fucking hate, not love. But it's something that is necessary in order to grow. Is the proper type of love, people who love you, not haters.
Yeah.
And differentiate that. Don't feel hatred from the fucking people that.
But you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even when I read a negative comment, I'll be like, oh, damn. But then I'm like, it's just some random person.
It takes some time.
Mad or miserable or something.
It takes some experience and learning.
That's why the most popular people, like Joe Rogan, he just doesn't read because it's like even the good comic, because then it's like, oh, I'm the best, really?
Yeah.
And then it gets to your head. It's like, just don't even let it affect you and do your thing.
It's all too fucking much.
It's way too. Nobody's equipped to handle this in their brain.
No, but the only way that you can is, like we said in another episode, was being around the right type of people that will critique you in a way that makes you better. And when you see that, and when you notice that help, the difference between, hey, you're doing this, do this instead, or hey, try this and shit like that.
Yep.
When you start seeing that, and you accept it, when someone that you respect and you trust does it to you, respect it, trust it. Do not feel hate toward it, because I know people that like feel like, oh my god, you're just hating on me. No. I'm trying to improve you, motherfucker. So do that, because the hate is different. You'll at one point see the difference where people are just saying, hey, you suck, instead of, hey, that sucks, maybe try it like this.
Exactly. So, in conclusion, we'll wrap it up. We covered a lot of things. Again, the essay is like 10 pages as of now. It's not really fully finished, but maybe I'll release it in some form when I polish it. But just so we go through the hater, the opinions, objective, subjective, art is feelings, and be aware of it. Nobody is immune to not feeling their, it's a whole thing, as we've said. But I just want to give a summarization. So here's one of the things I highlighted. You can't, back to the science. Science is about measuring, getting a quantity that's objective. Everyone can agree on, because we can all measure it. Feelings, you can't do that. You can't quantify the goodness of a song objectively. The best you can do is quantify the response from other individuals and confirm what is most popular, aka successful in the industry. That's the best you can do. You can only quantify how good the song is to you based on the feelings you feel, which you cannot measure or anything. Musical beauty is in the ear of the beholder. That's what I wrote there.
Absolutely. It's also why it's important where, let's say you have like a rough draft, or you're working on a song, something like that. If your ears are not the only ones that care, not just listen to it, but care about the project, because people can listen to your song and be like, oh, cool. Anyways, next, right?
Yeah, that happens to me all the time when I'm on the stream. It's like I can't control it. I have to feel like I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Sometimes I can't connect to it.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
So it's important to have the people that care about you to give you constructive criticism.
Yeah, but what I was saying is sometimes you're not, like, even if you show me a song and I'm just not, like, I'm in a bad mood and you're like, listen to this song.
Yep.
It's like, okay, well, it's hard unless it like speaks to the bad mood that I'm having. Particularly.
Exactly.
You have to be in the right frame of mind to accept things.
Absolutely.
In the art world.
Absolutely. Now, when you were saying the beauty is in the ear of the beholder.
Yeah.
Now, if you just have, like, let's say a trusted person like FERM right here to listen to your song and give his opinion, your ears can only hear a certain type of thing. Now, it's always good to have another perspective. That's
You
what I was
need
going
other perspectives. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You need other perspectives. And remember that those perspectives aren't always, they're going to change from year to year, from moment to moment. If you're happy, you want to hear something happy. If you don't want to hear a sad song when you're happy, or
No.
and if like like a song you love that's like about a heartbreak, and then like you're happy, and then like it comes on, you're like, oh, I can't listen to this because it's gonna fuck with my mood, because it's
Yeah.
gonna remind me of the time capsule of the emotion, all these things. So what makes a song good or great? To a society as a whole, on the surface level, it's simply how many people love it. That's what the average person is going to say. Oh, that's to the industry, that's a great song because it has 10 million streams.
Yeah.
But you can't a statistically significant large number of people agreeing that they love it. The audience decides the commercial success. You can't force it. You have to, you can engineer it with a lot of money and marketing and all promotion. If you have that, great, go for it. But at the end of the day, the answer is, at the end of the day, to the artists that know they have talent, that pour their energy and their passion, when you make a song that at least you enjoy, that's a great song.
Absolutely.
And when you show it to someone else and they genuinely love it, that's a great fucking song.
Yep.
Just because not everyone's going to like it doesn't mean it's a bad song.
No.
Doesn't mean it's a good song. It's art. It's subjective. It's not objective. It's not science. The only thing that's scientific about music is the pitch, the tempo, and the harmony of frequencies, and everything else is up to the interpretation of the listener. When someone calls your song trash, just say, okay, they didn't get it, whatever, and move on.
It's not for them.
Don't get in an argument with them.
No.
It is what it is.
You got to move on.
And everyone's susceptible to it. It's hard. You can't be,
Yeah, you literally, you can show somebody something, show them a song, and if they say it's just trash or stuff like that, be like, it's just not for them.
Yeah.
It's not meant for them. What I think is the best song in the world is not going to be what FERM thinks is the best song in the world. Everyone has different ideas of what they like. Everyone has a different perspective on life.
That's art.
It's literally art. Life is art, baby.
Yes. And it's also science, but life, as in.
Yes.
But the art and science are two very different things. Coming from science, I can see the very small parts of music that are science. The rest is
95% of it is,
unless you're statistically gathering data of millions of listeners and their opinions, then you have some kind of mathematical thing, but there's no way you're going to be able to do that on your own. So this has been a vast overview of an essay that I wrote over a long time, and I might keep working on it, and I don't know.
I think so.
I wanted to bring it here to the podcast because I couldn't figure out how to put it into video form without someone else bouncing off of, so this was good time.
That's why we're a good team.
That's right.
Because working together in unison for a common goal is a lot easier, just a lot more fun with someone else.
Team.
Exactly. So it goes along with perspectives right there.
That's right. And if you don't like this podcast, that's cool. You don't have to watch it. Watch another one. But if you do, I love that we resonate, and keep on watching and listening. And I hope you enjoyed and all that good stuff. Keep making your music. As long as you love doing it and you love what you're making, don't worry about people calling it trash and all that.
No, don't worry about nothing that anyone else says. Just do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else.
Amen.
And do what you love. Don't
do what you love. Exactly. Unless you have to make money, then do something you hate for a while to make the money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way the world works.
The beautiful thing about, for instance, what me and FERM are both doing for each other and individually is we're doing what we love and trying to find a way to make this actually a living.
Yes, sir. And that's the goal. That's the dream.
That is literally that's the goal. That's the goal right there.
All right.
Do what you love, and if you do what you love long enough, the money will come.
Peace and love.
Peace, baby.